roads and a thin coating of snow may have been enough to shut down school last week, but it was not enough to prevent students from taking action this month. Good afternoon and welcome to a special extended edition of This Week. I'm Talan Collins.
And I'm Tyme Sisakvanich. Also this week, several of our winter sports athletes are headed off to state. We'll have more on that and other stories later on in our broadcast. But first, a problem that is not unique to River. Recent reports of damaging activity in our school facilities are only at the surface level of a larger issue. In the last 3 years, Washington State high schools have seen a rise in vandalism, especially in bathrooms. Columbia River High School is no exception. Common scenes during a quick trip to the restroom include vapes lodged in toilets, profane graffiti, as well as the destruction of stalls and soap dispensers.
Some of the things that are done can be really degrading and inappropriate, and I think that definitely doesn't set a good example or a good outlook for our school.
However, an ordinary custodian's work isn't enough to clean this mess. According to Sierra building operator Gabe Bravo, plumbers and drain technicians are called in up to 3 times a month.
I feel like our resources could be used elsewhere other than having to deal with the same nonsense over and over again.
According to the Washington State Legislature, vandalism caused by students currently subject them to a short period of suspension. But the question remains, is this approach really enough to mitigate the damage, or should the state legislature be revised to allow for further disciplinary action?
All the money that's costing the district to repair all this stuff, I feel like monetarily, there should be some type of repercussions.
I know they can't really reprimand the kids as much anymore due to certain precautions, but whatever they can do, I fully support, just trying to dial it in.
An issue we'll be continuing to follow. If it's legislative revision that's necessary, then students participating in this year's annual Action Day event, hosted by the Legislative Youth Advisory Council, demonstrated their commitment to do just that, shake up future policy in Washington State. Across the street from Washington's historic state capitol in Olympia, a light dusting of snow covered the steps of the John A. Cherbourg building. Students from all regions coming together in an event designed to amplify youth voices in the legislative process. What has the experience just today been like, getting to meet new people?
I think it's been really nice. I haven't gotten a chance to be able to work with a lot of people who kind of have the same aspirations and come from similar ideas that we want to advocate for our issues. And being surrounded by people who are meant to just be leaders as we grow up is really inspiring.
Among them, River's own Ashley Treves, Public Affairs Officer for the Council. Featuring panels, discussions, and keynote remarks from elected officials, newly sworn-in Governor Bob Ferguson welcomed students, outlining legislative priorities, including a proposal for universal free school lunch, a goal not yet met statewide. The idea sparked debate among students, with one participant challenging the proposal, arguing that school lunches should not be free for all. Those kinds of conversations, among others, on issues that matter most to students: mental health, financial literacy, and education policy. Would you say that, getting to interact with some of the students here today, that you have a sense of optimism or hope about the future of the next generation of leaders here in Washington?
A lot of the students here are really excited about getting involved in the legislature. With more student advocates, I think we can really improve our education system as well.
One student sharing how budget cuts have impacted resources available to counselors in schools, another proposing a statewide mandatory financial literacy course. Keynote speaker and Lieutenant Governor Denny Heck addressed students directly, urging them to engage in productive political discussions rather than falling into the hyper-partisan divide. For students like Colton Hong, the experience was deeply personal. Do you think that on the state level there is a problem as far as students in schools are not being informed about how their state and federal government works?
I think partially yes, because I have friends who are 18, 19 who just don't see a reason to vote, which I think the school should play a role in changing that, because the schools and the education system is so important in shaping how we develop.
A first-year LIAC member from Anacortes High School, he worked through a stutter to become the advocate he is today. What is it that you hope that students who were in attendance took away from anything that you said?
You have a voice, and it's not just your vote, right? Because even though a vote can only be one in a sea of millions, you have a voice beyond that.
Testifying is the way for legislators and senators to hear your voice. And in the end, that's how they're going to take your story and argue with it when they're on floor. It's so that they can make the bill that you want actually happen.
Students leaving Action Day empowered to bring real change back to their schools and communities, addressing issues that matter to them. While the discussions have ended for now, the conversation is just beginning. And the conversation continues Monday, where I'll be joined by CR News' Josiah Foster and Emmy McGill for analysis on their recent reporting on student civic engagement and what the new presidential administration could mean for education funding. Stay tuned.
We turn now to Rivers sports, where despite losing in the second round of districts, boys basketball clinched a spot in the state tournament, winning last night against WF West 55-48. As for the girls, they won the first 2 rounds of districts this past week and play in the district championship game tonight at 6 against WF West at Kelso.
Also, girls wrestling had their district meet last weekend at Hudson's Bay. Aaliyah Booth placed 3rd in her weight class, and Maya Kay and Ruby Antonio both took 3rd. As for the boys, during their district meet a few weeks ago, Jack Givens, Aiden Deeney, and Kellen Bashaw placed 2nd. Preston Shearer took 3rd, and Isaiah Graber placed 4th. These wrestlers will now compete today and tomorrow in state at the Tacoma Dome.
And on Wednesday, River held its annual winter sports send-off to congratulate athletes for an amazing season and to wish luck to those going off to state. Great job, winter sports, and good luck to wrestling and gymnastics at state this weekend.
And last Wednesday, boys volleyball took on Ridgefield in their second game of the season. Unfortunately, the boys couldn't quite pull through and lost 3-2. However, it was still a win in the sense that River that night was able to raise around $1,600. Way to show up and support your fellow students, Rapids.
And that money went to this year's Mr. and Miss CR annual fundraising pageant, which will be held March 15th at 7 p.m. in the Skyview High School auditorium. Tickets are currently on sale for $20 and will not be available at the door, so please contact a participant to purchase yours today. All proceeds go to the nonprofit Friends of the Children. And for any juniors interested in hosting this year's pageant, MC auditions will be held in Miss Buss's room 404 on Wednesday, February 26th after school.
In other news this week, one of River's science classes conducted an annual experiment showcasing student and CR News senior correspondent Jacob McManus reports.
On Tuesday, Physics 1 students had their annual bridge building competition to see which student's bridge was the strongest. A slow increment of weight until failure, developing the optimal bridge, both very light and very strong, proved difficult for students.
The process of the building, it was actually complicated because your measurements are going to be different than your actual process. But it was a lot of waiting and just piece by piece building together.
A challenge never too great to overcome.
As a class, I think a lot of us did better than we predicted, and then one of us actually got all-time weight record.
Overall, I think we did very good. It's going to be a good year for 2025.
Learning opportunities that will stick with students for a lifetime.
I think it's good skills for the future, like how to work together, teamwork and stuff.
We'll probably come out as better engineers and just know to have fun.
A testament of science and ingenuity. Jacob McManus, CR News.
A quick reminder, seniors, the last day to purchase a senior ad in a yearbook is February 28th. If you are interested, remember to go to the online yearbook order center and purchase one very soon.
We end this week off on a sweet note. One of River's clubs has more to offer than what they bake in the oven. Niles Cowan has that story.
That's right, Tyme. This Thursday, River's Culinary Club came together to bake chocolate muffins.
Culinary Club is a club about baking and cooking where we learn new skills for people to use.
Previously, the club has made a wide variety of meals including pizzas, cinnamon rolls, sugar cookies, and ramen.
We all meet a week before the actual meeting. We make a slideshow and find the recipe and stuff, and then our treasurer goes shopping a day beforehand.
I joined the club because I really like to bake and I like to cook, and it's basically a free hangout with my friends.
So you can follow us on Instagram. It's every third Thursday of each month.
A great way for students to have fun while learning a lifelong skill. Niles Cowan, CR News.
A tasty treat to remember. Again, you can follow the club on Instagram for updates at CRHS_Culinary Club. That is the news for this week. I'm Talan Collins.
And I'm Tyme Sisakvanich. For all of us here at CR News, thanks for watching.